Hey, did you hear about ITC Hotels? Seems like their shares were removed from the Sensex and other BSE indices.
Yeah, I saw that. It happened before trading started on Wednesday, February 5th. Apparently, it was always meant to be temporary.
Temporary? Why was that, even a thing?
Well, they were temporarily included to help with portfolio rebalancing by passive funds after the demerger from ITC.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. So, when did ITC Hotels actually start trading separately?
January 29th. It's all pretty recent. And it sounds like the removal was triggered because the shares didn't hit the lower circuit by the cutoff time.
So, because it didn't crash, they removed it? That's kind of counterintuitive, right?
I guess so. The BSE notice said since it didn't hit that lower limit, they dropped it from all their indices before trading opened that Wednesday.
So, what was the impact of all this shuffling around?
Well, on Tuesday, the shares closed down about 4.16% at around 164.65 rupees apiece. And index trackers apparently had to sell shares worth over 400 crore rupees due to the Sensex exclusion.
Ouch, that's a big sell off. Was there more selling expected?
Yeah, another 700 crore rupees worth when it gets removed from the NSE Nifty. Big numbers, right? This is all public information. But remember, folks, disclaimer, we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions.
Absolutely. So, how did ITC Hotels perform when it first listed? Was it a rock star debut?
Not exactly a blockbuster. They listed at 188 rupees on the BSE and 188 rupees on the NSE. But get this, that was at a 30% discount to the discovered price.
A discount? What was the discovered price then?
260 rupees per share on the NSE and 270 rupees on the BSE. So it started lower than expected.
And what about their overall market valuation?
It started at over 39,000 crore rupees, but it's dropped to around 34,266 crore rupees as of early February. So a bit of a dip since listing.
Let's rewind a bit. Can you remind me about the demerger details?
Sure. ITC Hotels is, as we mentioned, a demerged entity from ITC Ltd. The demerger ratio was 1:10, meaning you got one ITC Hotels share for every 10 ITC shares you held.
And how much of ITC Hotels does ITC still own?
ITC retained a 40% stake, with the remaining 60% distributed to shareholders.
So, what's the backstory on the demerger and what's the overall outlook?
The demerger's effective date was January 1st, 2025. The record date was January 6th. ITC Hotels had nearly 13,000 operating keys. They plan to grow to over 200 hotels and 18,000 keys by 2030.
That sounds ambitious.
About 35% of the hotel portfolio is owned by ITC Hotels, and the rest is managed or franchised. The ARR and RevPAR of its hotels increased significantly in fiscal year 2024.
Could you break that down for me?
Average room rate increased from 7,900 rupees in FY19 to 12,000 rupees in FY24. Revenue per available room grew from 5,200 rupees to 8,200 rupees.
Wow, that's a solid jump. What about the revenue mix? Where does their money come from?
In FY24, room sales made up 52% of total revenue, while food and beverage accounted for 40%.
So analysts are optimistic about ITC Hotels, right? What are they saying?
Well, most of them think ITC Hotels will benefit from a strong industry cycle. There's not a lot of new capacity being added, and demand for premium accommodations is rising.
Makes sense. And ITC's continued involvement should help, I guess?
Exactly. ITC will continue to provide brand support and governance. The return profile of ITC will improve after spinning off the capital-intensive hotel business.
So even with the near-term volatility, the long-term outlook is positive?
Yeah, that's the general consensus. They see ITC Hotels carving out a good place for itself in the hospitality industry. The ROCE is around 20% and they have a net cash surplus.
Got it. So to sum it up, temporary inclusion in indices, a bit of a rocky start post-listing, but strong operational performance and positive long-term outlook.
Exactly. A nice summary, It's like adapting a recipe when you're missing some key ingredients. They're adjusting and figuring it out as they go.
So, what do you think? Are you bullish on ITC Hotels in the long run?
I'm cautiously optimistic. The hospitality sector has tailwinds and their numbers look good. It will depend on how well they execute their expansion plans.
That's fair. I think it's something to keep an eye on. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Just wondering, will they be acquiring other hotel chains or focusing on organic expansion?
That's a great question. We should definitely keep an eye on their strategies moving forward. Thanks for the discussion.